Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. It's the full contingent of the nerds talking about a proper low-scoring thriller. And when I say low-scoring, I mean very low-scoring.
And when you say thriller, you don't really mean thriller.
I don't really mean thriller. Fewer runs were scored in this entire game than in Lucknow's last innings before this game. That's a bit ridiculous. So RCB, did they lose the toss or
they won the toss?
They won
and
the
chose
toss.
to bat.
Yeah, because Lucknow, as we know, is a pretty slow pitch. Going into this game, I made sure that my fantasy team was full of spinners, which I'm happy about. But I really wasn't expecting something as bad as this. Zach, RCB's batting, it looked like they finished about 15 under par, 10, 15 under par. But as it turned out, it was, way better than anything Lucknow could manage.
Well,
what were your thoughts at the time?
At the time, I wasn't too concerned because obviously I wanted us to score more than 126. I'd watched the preview to the RCB game, and Mike Hesson was saying that like all the stats about the ground they were playing at in Lucknow and how 135 is about par in the first innings because they've got two different types of soil. So if you're playing on the black soil pitches, 135 is actually a decent score. And Faf du Plessis after the inning said he wanted 135. Now, ideally, you probably want to be scoring 150 if you want 135. So I was a bit upset that we didn't get that. However, I did think we had a challenging total. I didn't think it was easy to bat on, especially when players were getting these short balls, which previously players would pummel for 6. They were sticking in the wicket and players were hitting it to the fielder. So it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't an easy wicket to bat on. But Faf du Plessis hitting 44 or 40, we'd be saying that's an absolute stinker of an innings. Turns out it was a match-winning innings that gave him player of the match. It shows that on these pitches, we can still have these awesome games where they don't score many runs.
I think this might be why KR Hall is still loved so much at Lucknow, because his stinky, smelly striking at 101, that's the type of innings that can win you a game. It just so happened that he managed to get himself injured today, which I think was a big problem for them, because actually they could have done with KR Hall at the top of the order to play that long knock. I mean, you had Kyle Myers, who I have no idea what he was trying to do. He just spliced it, and it was an absolute dolly for Anish Rawat to catch. And I think Lucknow just went through a phase of just throwing their wickets away. Like the 2 runouts as well of Ravi Bishnoi and Krishnappa Gautam they just weren't needed. And I think actually without those silly wickets going down, like Deepak Hooda didn't need to get himself out in that way as well. Like just without Kyle Myers being stupid, without Ravi Bishnoi and Krishnappa Gautam getting themselves run out, I think it could have been a very different game, especially because Krishnappa Gautam looked pretty good. Like he was striking at 176 and it was a handy knock that he played. I feel like he was their best chance of sort of winning this game.
Yeah, because I think Lucknow almost gave up really easily. Now, it has to be said that their top 4 did horribly. It was, very, very early by the time they'd lost 4 wickets. I think it was within the power play. So instantly your mind kind of goes a little bit. But absolutely, Deepak Hooda played a horrible shot. They had far more time than they gave themselves credit for. I think maybe there was net run rate in their minds, but I mean, don't need to worry about that. They just beat Punjab by 50 odd runs in the last game, and just some really I think the message I was sending to you lads was brainless, all mindless play, and like Stoinis played a stupid shot. There was absolutely no need. They were pretty much requiring a runner ball at that point or just over. So knock it around. Like you're a good enough player to be playing it along the ground. You don't need to throw your hands through one that's wide outside off. Nick Pooran, I could understand what they were going for with him, but again, it just seemed like he was over aggressive unnecessarily. Krishnappa Gautam, he was the only one that actually, even though it looks like he absolutely smacked it around, he was waiting for the ball to be in his area, and then he hit it straight down the ground sensibly. Like it was I think one of the sixes he hit was straight back over Hasaranga's head after just playing him for, I think they'd got singles.
Yeah.
And they were milking the strike, and then he saw that's over pitched, that's in my area, now I can capitalize. That's all they needed. And even when they lost 5 wickets and had Krishnappa Gautam and I think it was Ravi Bishnoi in as well, so it might have even been 6 wickets. At that point, they just took unnecessary risks, and they still only needed like a run or so a ball.
Yeah.
And I think those players are good enough to be able to get that, or at least get close. So Lucknow gave up quite easily, I think.
They did. Amit Mishra looked grumpy. The whole time he was batting, he looked fuming. He didn't want to be there at all. But I think if he had applied himself a bit and, tried to get singles with Naveen and Bishnoi, it could have been a different game, really. It just really wasn't needed. And I think Lucknow were hurt a little bit by the fact that they didn't have Kara Hall. But I think they should be thinking now, is it time to maybe bring Quinton de Kock? I mean, we know that there's no Mark Wood for the rest of the IPL, which is a shame for Lucknow, because I think both his bowling and Mark Wood's ability to just stand there and hit would have probably been quite good for Lucknow today. But do they think about Quinton de Kock? Because he's the type of player that has impetus at the start of the innings, but then also is sensible and doesn't just smash it here, there, and everywhere and get himself out. It'll be interesting to see. Zach, are you overall pleased with RCB's performance today?
Yeah, very much so. I think there's always things that we can do better. Our middle order struggled again today, which you can't blame them on that track, really. It wasn't the easiest track to come into form. So there's still things to work on there. But there's a couple of talking points, really. The first one is, James, you sent a message round about Kedar Yadav getting picked up as a replacement for David Willey, which is very interesting. But do you think that's an impact sub where RCB have thought, well, Josh Hazlewood's coming in, so we don't need David Willey anymore. We'll just get a batsman instead. I don't know.
I'm going to say right now, Kedar Yadav would have been very useful at Lucknow. So when I found out this morning that that RCB had signed Kedar Yadav as a replacement, first of all, I was like, that's really weird. Second thing I did was look at his most recent matches. And the 2 most recent matches he's played at Lucknow, he's got 50s. So instantly I was thinking, well, have they just signed him for this game? In which case, they should have done it. They should have played Kedar Yadav. And I don't know why he's down as an all-rounder, because he never bowls. But as a batter, he could have been quite useful in that middle order on a very, very slow track.
Yeah, I think Mahapal Lomror, he's also down as an all-rounder, and he bowled his first over of the IPL, and he's played all but 1 game for RCB or something like that. So there's a few interesting all-rounders who only bowl in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. But the commentators were saying today that because of the impact sub, a lot of these part-timers aren't getting as much of a go because they're bringing the specialist. The other point, which is it kind of puts a dampener on things, is Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir. Now, the 2 of them have a long-standing history of not really liking each other. It happened a long time ago when RCB played Kolkata Knight Riders. Gautam Gambhir was the captain of KKR, Kohli obviously of RCB, and they had a bit of an altercation, and that's never really gone away, to the point where today Amit Mishra, of all people, had to get in between Kohli and Gambhir because there was a likelihood that they were going to punch each other.
Amit Mishra is my favourite person. I just need to say this. He's jokes.
But apparently it came up because Kohli shushed the crowd after taking the catch to get rid of Krunal Pandya, who was the standing captain after Rahul went off, which was a response to Gautam Gambhir shushing the RCB crowd when Lucknow won in the other fixture.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of something going on between the two of them. They're probably the two fieriest characters in Indian cricket. So yeah,
I've got to say I was quite disappointed in that game because again there was a little bit of sort of, I don't know, spice between Mohammad Siraj and Naveen al-Haq. I didn't like that. I thought that was really unnecessary from Siraj. Like, I get him being fired up, and he was annoyed that a ball went for a boundary. He gave Harshal Patel absolute death stare. But then, he was like giving it the big one to Naveen al-Haq, the number 11 batter. It's like, well, just have a day off, mate.
Yeah.
But impact player wise for Lucknow, horrible decision to not play Yash Thakur, weirdly, but like get KL Rahul off. If the guy is so broken that he cannot even run, he could barely walk to the middle. I don't know why you would sub off like somebody that is a very poor quality batter, but realistically he can run forwards. He can run 22 yards.
Yeah,
that's an improvement.
Whether what was happening was that they had a plan in that they were always going to impact sub Ayush Badoni in, and they just kept with it, or Rahul was still being assessed to see if he could bat. So I think there probably was some uncertainty there because as one of their better batters, they didn't want to just write him off that early. I mean, if you look at the Lucknow squad, there are a few names who are in that 15 who could have, been a bit more useful than Amit Mishra batting. But also, you don't expect to have, Rahul coming in at number 11. Maybe in their mind, they thought a broken Rahul was better than any of the other people that were coming in. Yeah, but
I don't think when you're chasing 127, you just need somebody that can run. Tap it and run.
I mean, Karan Sharma could have come in, but I'm not sure if he was in the squad or not. But yeah, very interesting. We'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of players that haven't had much of a time yet for Lucknow. Quinton de Kock being one of them. Daniel Sams, you saw him at the start, but he's not really played very much. So, but yeah, interesting time in the IPL. As we said yesterday, the IPL has been blown wide open by this. And now, with Lucknow losing today, it just changes things again so much. With now having, after 9 games, I think there are 5 teams who are all on 10 points. So it's getting really exciting. It's just Gujarat at the top, doing Gujarat things, but we won't talk about them. But yeah, it's shaping up to be a thrilling IPL.
Yeah, we're cheering Delhi tomorrow, aren't we?
We are cheering Delhi tomorrow. Yes. Have we got any CNQs, boys?
We do have a CNQ.
Nice.
So after yesterday's video, which if you haven't seen, you do need to check out. I sort of stumbled on my words, tried to claim that I am Punjabi. I wish, but I'm a big Punjab fan, and Bardwodge 3319 said he was wondering in the first place why we picked our particular teams and when it was. So because he is an Indian, lives in Punjab, he's been a Kings 11 supporter since 2007. But as Englishmen, he wants to know our stories. So I'm happy to start. I wasn't a fan of cricket growing up, but my best mate at school was. So he was an RCB fan, and I went over to his house in about, I want to say 2012. And he was watching the IPL, and I was like, oh, I can get behind this. This is funny. And I picked the team that I thought had the silliest name, and that was Kings 11 Punjab. So there we go. That's how it started. And now I'm a full-on Punjab Kings fan. So we've gone a long way. How about you, Zach?
So I didn't watch the first season of the IPL back in 2008, but I watched the second season because it was going on in South Africa. And I was in South Africa when the IPL was going on. And so I went to a shop and they had all these T-shirts. And I bought the RCB T-shirt because Kevin Peterson was the captain of RCB at the time. And so that was kind of where that started. And then, yeah, everything after was great because that year RCB got to the final and lost. They should have won that one. And then we wouldn't have had the awkwardness of never having won. But yeah, and then I've had the joys of Chris Gale scoring 175. I've had the lows of RCB falling bottom of the table. Virat Kohli, top run scorer that year when he got 970 runs. So yeah, it's been some good times from RCB. But any RCB fan will know it's not easy being an RCB fan. It's really not easy. Benj.
I don't remember how I became a Chennai Super Kings fan. I don't remember my first game of the IPL, but
it was grew up and became old, right?
Was it when they finished, when they won? You were like, I'm going to support that team.
No, because I supported Chennai before they went through the whole ball tampering ban situation. Because I remember being lost for 2 years when my favorite team wasn't in the IPL anymore. I remember it was the year that Deccan Chargers were in it, which must have been quite early on.
That's who beat RCB in the final.
Yeah, Deccan Chargers were in it. And I remember it was the first game I ever watched, which was CSK versus Kolkata Knight Riders. And I remember not liking Kolkata Knight Riders. That was just it. And
they just wanted
by not liking a team, you then found a favorite team.
I think so. And then CSK won that game, and just ever since I've been a CSK fan, but I'm trying to find what year it was. I can't remember what it was. It was definitely when Suresh Raina was in the side. And I think it was potentially around the time that Mike Hussey was in, because I quite like Mike Hussey because he'd been the overseas pro for Notts that year. Yeah. So I was quite into Mike Hussey because he'd been playing for Notts, my hometown. My favorite cricket team in the whole world is Notts. And then it's CSK. And yeah, but ever since then, and there you go. I think that was I think that year Chennai had Ashwin too, but it was before I didn't like Ashwin. So you can forgive me for that.
Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your comments. Continue to leave your comments. If you're unsure what to comment once you've commented something, just do what Pal Edits does and just send the comment again about 3 times. That helps. Also, make sure you continue to Legend of the Game. Make sure you continue to like, subscribe. Make sure you follow us on social media. All the links are in the link tree down below in the description. You can also listen to us on any podcasting sites that you like to listen to. So make sure you check us out there. But thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you later.